Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jennifer Tamborski. Welcome to Conversations with Coaches. I am so excited to have you here today, and I'm really excited to have Melissa Margres with me today. Melissa, introduce yourself to our audience and just let them know what you do and who you serve.
Sure. Well, thank you, Jennifer, for inviting me to your podcast. I'm super excited to be here. So my name is Melissa Margres. I specialize in working with mom entrepreneurs who are looking to scale their business and really get a better handle on their time management and life balance strategies so they could grow their business really without letting life distractions prevent them from going after their dreams. So I really help with that overall mindset support, their scheduling support, and setting up realistic goals so they could stay on track to really scale their business.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
technically I'm a mompreneur. I started my business. My kids are teenagers now, but when I started my business, they were still pretty young.
Sure.
So what are some mistakes that, and I'm sure I probably made them when I first started my business, but what are some mistakes that moms often make when they're trying to start growing their business?
Yeah, great question. So first of all, there's no bad mistake. That's the one thing that I want to offer, especially people who are starting off business or growing and trying things. Yes, you might make mistakes, but as long as you're failing forwards and learning from those mistakes and kind of readjusting the way you do things, that's still growth, right? But overall, some of the bigger mistakes that I see most moms try to do, especially in the first year of growing a business, is that they try to take on too much all at once, right? Life, is a balance. And that's one of the things that I focus on because a lot of mompreneurs, they have life, they have kids, they have other responsibilities. And a lot of my clients also are still working full time. So their time is already limited as it is. So when you try to take on too much and you try to multitask too much, you get really burnt out really fast, right? Like, I think that's one of the things where their ambitions there, their goals are there, and they're really excited. They want to hit these big, amazing goals in their first year. And then when they don't hit it, it kind of puts them back a couple of steps because then they're disappointed that they didn't hit their goals and they get burnt out way too fast and then they end up failing or giving up altogether. So that is my passion, is to make sure that they don't give up because there's so many amazing opportunities for moms and for online businesses and just for entrepreneurship altogether. But the first year is probably the hardest year. You could probably relate to that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thinking back, especially when you have littles, right? When they're
Yes.
little. Those were definitely struggles to fail forward, as you said, rather than feeling like you just failed.
Right, right. And there's going to be a lot of failures. And you see that, like that graph that says like your success is based off of a bunch of failures. So as long as you're in that position of failing and just going through the eyes of curiosity, I'm like, all right, well, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? And then really reflecting on the why and being aware of what we could do differently to adjust your schedule and your mindset so you can keep going forwards. I think that's a big one for just starting off, which leads me into another big mistake that I see most moms and just people in general do, is that they don't plan ahead. And planning ahead is honestly a skill of itself. It's something that I myself are still practicing, successful people are still practicing. It's an ongoing practice, right? You're never gonna like not be doing it. But what I see is, and we're all guilty. You wake up in the morning, you go upon your day with the hopes that you could get your get some work done within your business or grow your business. But you don't have that plan. So what ends up happening is like, oh, I have 15 minutes to work on my business, or I have an hour to work on my business. The first, 15 minutes of that hour is wasted with trying to figure out what to do, or really getting yourself in that right state of mind. And then what ends up happening is there's a lot of wasted time. So if you could plan ahead of time, and I do this all through my process that I teach my clients, if you could schedule ahead of time, then you know exactly what you're going to be doing when the hour, comes, 2:00 hits, and you're like, all right, today I'm recording a podcast with Jennifer, right? Like, you know exactly what you're going to be doing. So there's no that wishy-washy, and that really ends up saving you a lot more time. So you have more time freedom. I hear it a lot where a lot of moms in general, your schedule, your time is very limited already. Like, you don't have time to waste, right? So if you can plan ahead and know exactly what you're going to do, and then you end up actually can plan your free time, which is, allowing you to still keep those relationships with your kids, with your husband, with, ongoing life's things. So you don't constantly feel like you have that mom guilt or that constant pressure that, your business is taking over your life.
Yeah. I remember distinctly that day that my daughter came to me and said, Mom, can I schedule some time on your calendar? Oh,
Yeah,
that's a heartbreaker.
it is. It is. And especially when they're too young and they don't realize. And so scheduling in family time is pretty much equally as important as scheduling in, your business time. And same thing with your spouse, right? I remember at one point my husband, I was go, go, go with my business. He was like, hey, are you gonna hello, what about me? And
Yeah.
then that was the other thing too. You can't forget about those relationships that you have. And so having that balance, right? That life balance between work, entrepreneurship, and life is so critical. And that's what I really help my students understand and be aware of, is that if you go 100% all in and you don't have that life balance, then eventually it's going to creep up to you, and then you're really going to struggle. So I kind of take a couple steps back, kind of slow things down, because your goal's still going to be there. You're still going to have those goals, and you're still going to have that ambition. And that's awesome. And we're going to use that. But if you kind of break it down into bite-sized pieces, which are more manageable and attainable, that's where you're not going to get burnt out, and you're going to actually succeed that much faster.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more on that. I know that setting my schedule at the beginning of the week has helped tremendously with me being able to stay on task and stay so that we don't struggle. So we've gone over some of the mistakes that people make. So what are some tips, or the big piece of advice that you would give those mompreneurs that are juggling work, life, being an entrepreneur, all of the things that go along with it?
The world of craziness, right?
Exactly.
My biggest advice is just embrace the madness, right? Life is going to be crazy. There's no way around it. You are literally going to be juggling a lot. And so having that open mindset and being flexible is probably my biggest advice for anybody, because just like you plan ahead and you do your best to stay on schedule, when you throw in kids and you throw in life and you throw in, COVID-19, right? And all the other things that are going on right now, those are unplanned things. So one of the biggest things that I teach my clients is their mindset and being aware of what is going on in their thought process. Because when you start to overthink things and you start to really overanalyze and you start to dwell too much on the negative of what's going on, then once again, your thoughts are going to create your feelings, and your feelings are really what drives your business. So
Right.
when you have that mindset where, you know what, it's okay. I always like to say, embrace the madness, right? Because it's going to be crazy at times. But if you're aware that things are going to happen and life is going to throw you off, and then you could kind of readjust that mindset, and then you could get back on track. And goals in general is just that. It's just a goal, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you want to stay on track to hit those goals, but you're not gonna, if you don't hit your goal at the end of the year or whenever you set your goals, it's okay because you're still moving forward,
Right.
right?
Right.
And I think that's a big piece, especially now in this day and age. We always want instant satisfaction. There's a lot of false advertisement out there saying you could grow your business overnight. Like, yeah, that's a lovely dream, but going back to the reality of things and just expecting the madness, I think is probably the best advice. And keep your sanity. Right?
Yeah. I had someone tell me recently too, that your goals, that you should be invested but not attached to your goals.
Yes.
Meaning that your
Yes.
goals are not the end. It's, you definitely want to be invested in and reach for them. But
Yes.
the attachment to them, yeah, I think that's where a lot of people tend to struggle with it when they don't.
Yes. And here's the thing too, if your goal, just as an example, is to hit like $100,000 in, a year, which is a great goal, but you hit only 85 or 75, hey, that's still awesome,
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly it. I mean, it's you've done more. I actually do have a business coach that says, that you strive for excellence, right? Because you reach for that 100%, and if you still get
Yes.
90, you've still gotten
Did
yeah,
80%.
like
Yeah.
yeah, so that's absolutely so very true. So we are getting to the end of our call, and I could literally talk to you for hours about this kind of stuff, but I wanted to give our audience an opportunity to connect with you. So what's the best way that they can connect with you, to work with you or follow you or learn from you?
Yeah. Well, I do have a website. It's just my name, melissamargres.com. I also have my own podcast that they could check out, Life is Better with Balance. And there I also offer a lot of different tips and tricks and different strategies that can help them throughout the way. But also, I could send you the link, Jen, if you want. But I'm always open to having a 15-minute conversation with somebody, just to help them kind of get on track, hear them out a little bit, and see what they might be struggling with. And then I could talk to them a little bit more about how I work one-on-one with my clients. And then I do right now, I put together a mini course that is actually really awesome. It's 3 modules all about your mindset, your goal setting, and how to plan a schedule, right? How to plan ahead and how to kind of think future wise. And then also I threw in a bonus module for all of you ladies out there that kind of helps keep you on track when things kind of throw you off. And that's on a super ridiculously low markup right now for only $27. So it's kind of a win-win.
That's awesome. So for everybody that wants to connect with Melissa, all of that information will be in the show notes below. And for those of you that are watching far in the future, Melissa's module may or may not still be $27. Doubt it will
True.
be. But so if you have the opportunity to connect with her, please do so. I know that you will provide
Yes.
tons of value out of just talking to her. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
me
you.
today, Melissa. And thank you, everybody, for joining me on Conversations with Coaches. I look forward to talking to you soon.